3 tips to train efficiently. Do you feel like you're tired? Do you feel like you work too hard in workouts and burn out too early? Do you feel like you've got more to give, but you physically can't put that effort in to finish off that workout? Well, today we're going to talk about 3 of my favorite tips to train more efficiently, and we're going to start with the ticker. We're going to start with our heart rate. Obviously, it's going to be advantageous if you have some sort of a heart rate monitor, whether it's a band, a Apple Watch, Fitbit, Garmin, etc., or even one of those heart rate monitor straps. But you don't necessarily need one to track your heart rate. Of course, we can all feel when our heart is beating through its chest after a 20K assault bike sprint. We can all feel that feeling at the end of Fram. We're on the floor and our heart's going boom, 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 and we're like, oh my God, am I going to die? We all know that feeling. We know what our heart rate feels like when it's high. We know what it feels like when it doesn't. But one of the easiest ways to test whether you're in the aerobic or anaerobic system is by being able to talk. If you can talk quite genuinely well and have very few pauses between your words, then you're going to be in an aerobic system. However, if I'm talking a little bit like this, or I can't even give a response to someone who asks a question, then I'm probably in the anaerobic system. Our aerobic system is where we're most able to hold a pace for a long period of time. And they say that defining fitness is the ability to stay in your aerobic system for as long as possible. When we start to tap into our anaerobic system and our stores, we know we're in trouble. We know that hopefully we're at the end 1 to 2 minutes of the workout. Otherwise, we're plain and simply fucked if it's a 20-minute AMRAP and we're 2 minutes in tapping into this system. So there's a couple of ways that we can manage heart rate. Firstly is muscular fatigue. Do you ever find that those workouts that fatigue a particular muscle group, whether it's your grip, legs, or arms, during that workout, when your arms start to fatigue, your heart starts to increase? You've always kind of pondered why. Your heart rate will generally increase when we start to fatigue certain muscle groups heavily due to your body using more muscles and more energy to produce the same result. So when we fatigue a muscle group out entirely, your heart rate has to increase to utilize those extra muscles and to pump more blood around the body. One way we can avoid this is by applying a smarter set range breakup. And even the best athletes in the world do this. If we look at Matt Fraser's performance in 19.5, which was 33, 27, 21, 15, 9, chest to bar pull-ups and thrusters, he does big sets of the thrusters and chest to bars and rests accordingly between each one, taking just enough rest to lower his heart rate to perform another big set. I'm fairly sure he set one of the fastest times for this workout against even the stiffest competition like Claire Toomey. But this is obviously an over-exaggeration of what we should be doing as regular humans. When we look at managing our heart rate, we look at breaking up our sets into smart, manageable amounts that aren't going to completely fatigue our arms out, or legs in this case, and allow us to keep chugging away at that workout. So tip number 1, manage your heart rate. Can you still hold a conversation? If not, you've gone too hard and it's not too late to back off a little bit in the workout. Tip number 2, transitions. Transitioning between movements could be the make or break in certain workouts at being more efficient. Transitions are key when we're moving from one to another movement consistently throughout a workout. Different to workouts that have very short rep ranges or something like Grace, that's just one straight movement back and forward. Transitioning can be super essential at workouts that we lose time moving between the barbell to the wall to the rig. Being more efficient with your transitions will be key. One of my favorite things, especially with workouts that provide machines, is how we transition onto the machine. Let's say, for example, the workout is 19.1, a 15-minute AMRAP of 19 wall balls, 19 calorie row. This is a perfect example of where transitioning can really add up in the long term of the workout. If you diddle around after your final wall ball, you're throwing it, kind of like put your hands on your knees, you're like, oh man, I'm hurting today, I'm hurting. And you just waste time where you could be on the roller, pulling, getting some calories going, but still recovering and getting your heart rate back down. You can be the difference between an entire round that you would have achieved in that workout. Things like machines are really easy just to get on and ease into the first 5 calories, even up to 10 calories of that initial set. But you've got some points on the board, and then once your heart rate lowers, you can continue pulling and getting more. So tip number 2, transitions, especially on machines, don't rest out. Rest on the machine while pulling, get some calories ticking over, and once you pass 5 to 10 calories, then let's increase that pace and finish it off strong. Tip number 3, with training efficiently, is going to be an obvious one, but it's technique. The more dialed in our technique is from certain movements, the more efficient we're going to be, period. This should be number 1, to be honest, but I know for most of you, you kind of like, ooh, heart rate, that's a good idea. I didn't really think of that, but moving between movements faster, that's a good idea. People are like, oh, technique. But CrossFitters are really well known for having poor technique. The more efficient our technique is, the less energy we use in 90% of our movements, which means the more overall energy we can put out on those less technical movements like calories on the assault bike and running. Make sure your technique is on point. Practice good form at light weights and respect the barbell. One of my favorite quotes of all time when it comes to technique is earn the right to add weight to your bar. Tip number 3, technique. If it ain't looking good, it ain't good at all, and you don't deserve to lift it.